today on YouTube. About to give you my multiplayer. I guess more of an analysis on why I think Splinter Blacklist is just awful. I guess. I still been playing it. I might upload a little bit more, and that'll probably be it of the multiplayer, which I think is complete just generic and garbage. Think about it like if you disruptor, which that's one of the classes in the game, you can get a faster aim. But I mean, you know, the controls are still clunky. But I mean, if you don't pick disruptor, because if you don't pick that class, then your aim's automatically gonna be slow. And what I mean, especially in, you know, first person view, like if you like say for instance you're in team deathmatch, I'm pointing out especially if you're like say for instance you're peacemaker, then you know you're gonna be in first person view where the aiming down the sights is really slow. So this game does have perks. I'm just going back over and elaborating more on the Splinter Blacklist multiplayer because I still think that it's still irrelevant. It's just generic. Just the fact is that the spawning is really slow. But it takes like 15-20 seconds to really just you know, to once you die, you gotta wait for at least 20 seconds minimum to really get back into the game, and that's why I think it's really slow. I feel like the game is just overall was just generic. The thing about it is that even the single player, which was not enough stealth for me. You know, I told you when I compared it to just, you know, the ones from the PS2, the Splinter games that was from the PS2, you know, they were just all out stealth. And Splinter Blacklist is a little better than Conviction, but not by a whole lot. Because it has like, they still have this idea that they're trying to make Splinter this action-based type shooter now. They're not trying to keep it stealth anymore. And the thing about it is that this game is 50-50 because, you know, it's depending on what mission you're doing, you know, some is where you can just kind of just run and go crazy, and then some of them are just like where you just really have to use your mind. And I feel like this game should have just been all stealth to be done with it, because when Splinter you know, I guess basically came around, you know, down in the PS2 days, you know, it wasn't like that. It was really just that it was really stealth based, and now it's not that anymore. So I feel like, you know, this is probably gonna be the last Splinter game that I do buy, because I feel like this was just a joke. I don't plan on buying any more Splinter games because Splinter Blacklist was just a letdown to me. Overall, it was just generic. There's nothing special about it. They didn't use that hardcore stealth-based formula that like I thought they were going to use for the single player. The multiplayer was okay, but it still, you know, has its flaws. I know people say that I complain about video games, but I tell the truth. Just thought the game overall was just generic. But I really want to just give my multiplayer analysis. It just depends on what class you're in, and just that the thing about it is I still feel like the hit detection, you know, there's a maybe not a whole lot depending on, but like if you're like in it has a small percentage of hit detection problems to me. Maybe not as big, but it has a small, like if you're shooting somebody from time, you can just using just too many bullets. But I mean, it holds its own to an extent, but it seems like they could have did a better job with that multiplayer for Splinter Blacklist. Overall, they could have did better. You know, I wish they would have had a beta, because that beta would have just, you know, let us know some of the issues, and they could have went back and fixed it. They would, you know, that would have kind of went in. You know, they could have let us have it for like a month or two or what have you, and just played it for a while, and just let us tell them, you know, point out the problems, you know, with the multiplayer. Because I mean, what do you do after you play that single player, you know, what, 3 or 4 times? You go to the multiplayer, which I didn't play it 3 or 4 times. I only played it once, and I still think it was just garbage overall. So, the multiplayer, you know, like I said, the spawning is very slow. When you're trying to respawn, you know, the game is really slow. It's just the controls feel so bad, like they just feel just awful. Like I said, it takes the X button. Now, if you change, you can change up your controls, but still, if you're just using the basic default controls, it's going to feel bad, like really bad. So, especially, you know, just in the overall sense, it is. So, I feel like, you know, Splinter Blacklist multiplayer just bad, you know. I might put up a little bit more of the gameplay and then finish it out. But like I said, I would still prefer Hitman Absolution to this day over Splinter Blacklist, because Hitman Absolution had the perfect format. It never changed. It was just pure, all-out stealth. I know people talk about the difficulties, but still, if you have been playing stealth games, I had Hitman Absolution on the hardest difficulty, and I still did good. Even on the hardest difficulty, this game does not seem hard to me, because once you have played a good amount of stealth games, it doesn't bother you. Look at the Metal Gear series, how that's changing too. So I'm just telling you, you guys acting like this game it's been the hardest stealth game ever. No, it's not. They're all, you know, games in general that were evolved around stealth that is way harder than Splinter Cell Blacklist. Hitman Absolution is one, and I still kick butt. The hardest difficulty doesn't mean nothing, because if you can play a stealth game, you can play, if you know how to play stealth games, if you're just good at stealth games, you're going to know how to play it in any difficulty. It doesn't matter about any of that. I had it on the hardest difficulty. I had it between normal and hard, and it still did not seem like it was overall stealth. So, multiplayer, just giving, you know, my multiplayer analysis, and then that's it. Multiplayer just overall generic. Might put up a little more gameplay, then I'm done with it. Of the multiplayer, it is. Peace out. See you later.